The Ossiarch Bonereapers look to expand their territory and lay claim to a resource-rich area. When the Seraphon Starmasters catch wind of their plans, the mighty warbeasts of the Thunder Lizards are sent to intervene, with Lord Kroak himself leading them. The Bonereaper force is no standard legion though, as Katakros himself is accompanied by his Mortis Praetorians, and the Lord of Death himself, Nagash, is here to ensure their success. The air crackles with magic as the armies meet on the battlefield, and two of the strongest wizards in the mortal realms prepare for war.
Hello and welcome to Season of War! Tonight, Ridge and I are back playing another game of Age of Sigmar. The first time we played this matchup in AOS 3, we have me playing the Ossiarch Bonereapers, which is a change because you played them last time.
Yeah.
Facing off against your Seraphon.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting test here. Thunder Lizards today is the notable change, different thing for you.
Yeah, I've been playing them a bunch just in test games and kind of we've played a few just here and there, but they haven't been on the channel for a while. But everyone, as I always say, everyone loves me pushing around the big dinosaurs because they're just fun to see for sure.
I have some big models as well today. Not only Katakros, but I'm playing Nagash as well. So two big models on my side take up half my army, more. And first time I played Nagash, so I'm excited to throw him on the table. But before we get into lists, let's talk about mission. We're playing First Blood today. So this is 3 objectives across the center. Hold 1, hold 2, hold more. So the standard scoring style in AOS 3.
Yeah.
And the only real notable difference is the vantage point, where the player going second each round picks an objective to be the vantage point.
Yeah.
If they control it at the end of the round, they get, or whoever controls it at the end of the round, it's a bonus CP the next round.
Yeah.
So not actually relevant at all for me.
No.
Using the RDP.
Yeah. This is a pretty common one you'll see in packs too.
Yeah.
The
pretty
standard.
generic.
Yeah. 3 down the middle. You're gonna be burning one top of 3.
Yeah. So other than that, we're playing on our printable scenery terrain for our kind of elven board, nice and green. And always want to give a shout out to X Planet, where we did all our models and hobby supplies. Great web store. You can check them out and find anything you need there. But otherwise, Rich, let's jump into lists.
Yeah, so I'm running Kroak again, bringing him back off the shelf. I've been using Slan in a lot of my different competitive lists, but I think he still can be competitive. I am running him with 10 guard today, so just because he has that 3d6 mechanic, it's having those extra wounds to pass off is always nice. So I'm running Kroak. I have a Engine of the Gods, which is my general. He has the Prime Warbeast, which is the Thunder Lizard's command trait, and then he actually has the Arcane Tome. So I'm doing a little cheeky thing where he actually becomes a Skink Wizard. So now Kroak can actually cast through the Engine of the Gods, because if he's within 12, he can cast through Celestial Deliverance. And then I also have the Ashleth Bear, who increases that range by 6 inches.
Yeah, so it helps keep him safe.
Yeah, and exactly. You can kind of stay in the back when your engine, who has -1 damage, can go up and kind of do stuff. So just trying it out. I haven't played it yet, so we'll see. And then the Skink Priest, the 4th hero, just the best hero in the whole RB. And then I have, for Battle Line, I have 2 units of 5 Source Guard, so they're separate units. And then 1 Stagadon on the far side. And then 2 Salamanders, a Bastiladon, and then I actually am trying out Shackles as well.
Yeah, okay.
So not knowing there's going to be a Nagash, or we don't really look at armies or what it's going to be. Yeah. So Shackles with the Ashleth Bear for increasing by 6 inches. You can just throw those puppies 18 inches down the field. So,
for sure. Oh yeah.
Who knows? They're could be easily dispelled, but might be a
takes a dispel away
also
or a spell cast.
One less arcane bolt missile at my head.
Yeah,
so.
in this case.
Yeah.
But then for me, as you said, I am playing Nagash today with Katakros, who I mentioned both of those. The only points left in my list were pretty much just filling out my battle line in 10 more tech, 10 more tech, and then a unit of 20 more tech. Yeah. And I am literally 2,000 points.
Yeah.
No endless spells, no nothing. So just, obviously stacking buffs between the 2 of these big heroes.
Yeah, and Mortis Praetorians.
And Mortis Praetorians.
Bring it back.
Yeah. And I'll be bringing back 2D or 6 models per turn to probably every unit, or healing 6 wounds. So.
Every unit, 3 other units.
Yeah. So obviously trying to just be super resilient and hold out and store points.
Yeah, so I was 4 drops. I did the Battle Regiment and the Command Entourage. And I think
I was 5 because I could have done Battle Regiment and drawn 2 drops, but again, not knowing the matchups, I went for a little safer, what I thought, which is doing Hunters of the Heartland with the 3 units of Mortex so that they can't be stomped or stop me from using command points, because obviously Shield Wall is still a command ability.
Yes, so very notable. That's going to be huge.
Very, very huge. So you will have shooting, which kind of gets around it, but you know, we'll have different tools and see how things turn out. But
for sure.
You're going to have choice of how the game starts.
Yeah, I think you can probably imagine by the way we are kind of deploying and the distance we're around.
We are pretty far.
Shooting, so I'm definitely going to be giving you first.
All right, sounds good. So we'll jump into OBR turn 1.
Sounds good.
The Bonereaper's battle tactic is aggressive expansion. The engine of the gods uses heroic leadership. Nagash uses Supreme Lord of the Undead. Katakros uses Supreme Lord of the Bonereaper Legions. Katakros' Scroll Bearer targets the Salamanders. The Bone-Tide Nexus uses its punishment of death on the Salamanders, dealing 1 mortal wound. Nagash casts Mystic Shield onto the Mortec Guard. Nagash casts Protection of Nagash. Nagash successfully casts Arcane Bolt 4 times. The Mortec Guard uses Unstoppable Advance. Nagash uses Unstoppable Advance. Inspiring Presence is used on the Salamanders. The Bonereapers end their turn controlling 2 objectives and complete their battle tactic to score 5 points this turn.
All right, so OBR turn 1, pretty quick. I spent 2 RDP on 2 awesome command abilities, and that's pretty much the name of the game. So I'm +1 save and rerolling 1s to save across the army. I'm +1 to hit and rerolling 1s to hit across the army. So again, just super reliable with everything. Low on bodies, but hopefully just between the resiliency that gives me and being able to recur models will see me through the game is what I'm hoping. We'll find out. Spellcasting wise, I cast Mystic Shield over here on this unit as your Rent 2 firepower is probably going into them. So I just want to make sure I can keep them alive. So that was the hope there. Feeling like you probably couldn't take down Nagash, maybe with the double, but you're dedicating all your resources, not sure if you're going to get it. So
that's with the Mystic Shield. Like, no,
he's
already going to be on a 2.
Yeah, so I'm on a 2 up rerolling 1s with him, but worst case, if the Sally shoot at him, he'll be on a 4 up rerolling 1s. You could easily do very little damage to that, especially with his mortal wound.
And you -1 to hit them from Katakros' ability too, so that's notable too.
I also did a cheeky 1 wound on them, and because from the Bone-Tide Nexus, because they are 5 bravery, you had to battle shock. You spent the CP, but it made you spend a CP, which you could have lost 2 more stinks on a battle shock, which is actually just 2 wounds drawn from the unit. 2 wounds closer to killing the Salamanders.
In Coalesce, the Salamanders only have 5 bravery, so very used to playing Starborn where it's 10. So even just 1 little thing can do that. I always end my turn with Kroak, especially, just so many CP gens. So it's like, just CP that 1 single wound.
But otherwise, I take these 2 objectives, store my battle tactic, which was aggressive expansion, and I'm ready, accepting, whatever comes at me in your turn. So with that, we'll be jumping into Seraphon turn 1.
Let's go.
The Seraphon battle tactic is Monstrous Takeover. The engine of the gods uses heroic leadership. Kroak generates 1 additional command point. Katakros' Spy Master steals a Seraphon command point. The active asterism is the Sage's Staff on Lord Kroak. The Skink Priest uses his Starstone Staff on the Salamanders. The Skink Priest uses Herald of the Old Ones on the Salamanders. The Skink Priest prays for Bless on the Salamanders. Kroak casts a Stellar Tempest but is unbound. Lord Kroak casts the Soul Snare's Shackles. Kroak casts Comet's Call and kills one Mortec guard. Kroak casts Mystic Shield on the Salamanders. The Engine of the Gods casts Hand of Glory but is unbound. The Salamanders use At the Double. At the start of the shooting phase, the Cosmic Engine deals 2 mortal wounds to the Mortec guard. Nagash unleashes his arcane bolts on the Salamanders, killing 3 handlers. The Salamanders shoot at the Mortec guard, killing 1. The Bastiladon uses all-out attack and kills 4 more Mortec guard. The Engine of the Gods uses Trove of the Old One's technology, but only deals 2 mortal wounds to itself. The Mortec guard use Shield Wall. The Salamanders finish off the Mortec guard. The Seraphon control 2 objectives and achieve their battle tactic to score 5 points this turn.
All right, cool. So back from Seraphon turn 1. Couple little things. So like you're saying with your Mortec over here, that was obviously going to be the plan. So I did get the 3+ off from the Starstone staff to give them the run, shoot, run, charge. Auto 6'd it, and then shot with them, shot with the Bastiladon. The engine did some mortal wounds on the first one, so I just picked that far unit. And then
Second one, it did some mortal wounds?
Second one, I rolled 3 1s, which was nice. So it did 3 mortal wounds to itself. I saved 1 from the Astrolith, being wholly within 12. Yeah, the Bastiladon actually snuck, I think, what, 2 or 3
hits
through?
2 hits through.
You were 3 up, you're rolling 1s.
Yeah.
So that was,
4 damage.
4 damage on them, and then the Sallies, I rolled no mortals on my first shots, but then I made the 8-inch charge, I rolled a 9, and then I had 2 mortals and I put 1 through, so it was 3d3 damage. I think I did 8, and then finished them
there were 4 dice left, so
Yeah, so...
They would have been alive if not for the combat, though.
Yeah, so that 8-inch charge was big getting that. Yeah, so I essentially going to score my battle tactic. That will actually give me the 3,
Hold
so
more.
I was only going to hold 1, but now I'm going to get...
Hold 2 and hold more.
Yep. So I'll get 3 plus the 2 for my battle tactic, so... Cool,
Yeah.
so I'll score
5 all.
So I'll score 5, yeah.
And there were a couple other notable things to mention. One, between Shackles and your terrain piece, you were able to do mortal wounds. Ridge almost did almost could have potentially done damage to Nagash.
Yeah, not thinking about...
Not thinking, because I had protection of Nagash on him, if he had of, so between Shackles, we're in 6-inch range.
Yep.
And then you chose this terrain piece to blow up with your own scenery to hit these guys. Also hit Nagash. If he had done any mortal wounds or any wounds through after my save to Nagash, I would have been able to teleport.
Yeah, and he would have
land on this objective. We would have been tied on bodies, and neither of us would have controlled it.
Yeah.
So it would have denied Ridge's battle tactics. So that could have been huge.
Yeah. And Shackles was on a 6 too. Like they're not like it was huge chances, but still, you're gonna once in a while you'll get that, and you're kicking yourself in the teeth for that.
Yeah.
So thank God that those didn't go through.
Yeah.
We didn't mention either that you released the
4 arcane bolts.
Yeah. So only 5 bravery, so I saved one of them. Thank God from the bless from the skink priest. But I took 3 wounds. So on a 3 up, 1 would have ran, but on a 6, I would have lost an actual salamander.
Yeah.
So
could have been huge.
Yeah.
In the end, you rolled a 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not the worst. And with that, jumping into turn 2 priority.
Yep.
That's a 6.
That's a 1.
Well, I will take it here, and we'll jump into OBR turn 2.
Sounds good.
The Bonereaper's battle tactic is Conquer. Nagash uses their finest hour, as does the Engine of the Gods. Nagash uses Supreme Lord of the Undead, and Katakros uses Supreme Lord of the Bonereaper Legions. Nagash dispels the Soul Snare Shackles. Katakros' Scroll Bearer targets the Bastillodon. The Bone-Tied Nexus uses its Punishment of Ignorance on Lord Kroak. Nagash casts Drain Vitality on the Bastillodon. Nagash successfully casts Arcane Bolt 5 times. The Mortech Guard use Unstoppable Advance. The other unit of Mortech Guard also use Unstoppable Advance. And Katakros wants to use Unstoppable Advance too. Oh man, guess what? Nagash uses Unstoppable Advance. Really leaning into the new FAQ, huh? Nagash fails his roar, while the Engine of the Gods succeeds at it. The engine uses its armored crest against Nagash, as well as all-out defense. Nagash deals 6 damage to the Engine of the Gods. The Engine of the Gods deals no damage. At the start of the Battle Shock phase, Nagash unleashes his arcane bolts and finishes off the Engine of the Gods. The Bonereapers end their turn controlling 2 objectives, achieve their battle tactic, and slay a monster to score 6 points.
Alright, so Bonereapers turn 2. I had a decision whether I wanted to, kind of which way to pivot, especially with Nagash. It was either go into the Sallies, take back that objective, or throw him into the center of your army, where he just has a way bigger impact.
Yep.
So that's what I decided. If he did go and kill the Sallies, with a turn 3 priority, you could have burned that objectives and then threw your army over here, and then he's just out of the game for a turn or 2.
Yeah.
So that was the risk, where now your Sallies are over there. I actually am just outside of their threat range, so there's going to be you'll get in on the double if you win priority, but I'm a turn ignoring them. Did -1 to hit on the Bastillodon with Katakros. I did -1 to cast a spell and unbind with the Bone-Tied Nexus on Kroak, which was huge for unbinding.
Super good, especially with you being at +3. Like that's because he can be at +4 to cast or +3 to
dominant. And I did the other thing I did Finest Hour. You did Finest Hour in response.
Yeah.
Just knowing I was going to go into the engine, try and take it down.
Yeah.
And I did, and Nagash with all of his arcane bolts killed it by 1 exactly to the wound.
To the wound.
Exactly to the wound. I had debated doing +1 attack from Katakros, but with how many RDP I spent in movement, decided not to.
For my turn, essentially.
Exactly.
I failed the roar too, so you were able to still use that in the
so I
combat phase.
could have done it just to ensure it, but I felt like with the I had 5 arcane bolts, so good chance that's 10 damage there. You only had 12 wounds.
Yeah.
So ended up just barely working out for me. I did spend 4 RDP in the movement phase, moving all my units +3, and that's the best example, or really the first example of being able to use the command ability on multiple units in OBR, which is with the FAQ. Great change. What it did was let me move these guys first to make sure you couldn't redeploy away, and then everything else was kind of coming in.
He probably would have still got it in. Like it was, I think, like a 4 or 5, but
it all
you never know. You can't re-roll that. So if you did roll that 4 or 3 or
Katakros didn't make it in.
Yeah, he
it was
rolled 5.
A 7 or 8. It would have been nice, not a mandatory thing, but yeah, happy where everything is. And I hold 1, hold 2, hold more. I did my battle tactic of conquer.
Yep.
And so 5 points here, and we jump into Seraphon turn 2.
Let's go.
The Seraphon battle tactic is conquer. Kroak fails heroic leadership. The active asterism is the Sage's Staff on Lord Kroak. The Skink Priest uses Herald of the Old Ones on the Bastiladon. The Skink Priest prays for Bless on the Bastiladon. The Skink Priest fails to use his Starstone Staff. Lord Kroak successfully casts Celestial Deliverance twice, dealing 7 mortal wounds in total. Kroak casts Comet's Call, but is unbound. The Stegadon shoots but deals no damage. The Bastiladon deals 2 damage to the Mortec Guard. At the end of the shooting phase, the Bastiladon uses Trove of the Old One technology and kills another 2 Mortec Guard. The Mortec Guard use Shield Wall. The Stegadon uses All-Out Attack and kills 2 Mortec Guard. The Mortec Guard deal 2 damage to the Stegadon. The Seraphon control 2 objectives and achieve their battle tactic, scoring 5 points.
Okay, so, all right, what did I do here? Yeah, so Jordan made a great play of just leaving exactly 20 inches out from the salamanders. Yeah. So I was going to move them up as far as I could, but I figured I might as well just leave them outside of 11. So if I get turned, I can get them outside of 3. Yeah. Shoot down the 20 block and then charge them as well.
But further away if I get turned.
Exactly, and still hold it on to this point. The Bastiladon, double shot him into the 10 block there. I did get 2 Celestial Deliverances off. I rolled one of them a 1 on the 10 block, so I did some moves to the 20 block and the Katakros, but I did roll the 1 on the 1, so I think I did 2 mortals at the end or whatever.
Well, you killed, between that and the shooting, you had killed 5 Mortec before combat.
Yes, which is notable because if you were able to keep the 5 and I failed the Source Guard charge, you would have held it.
Could have, yeah.
Could have held it. I failed also on the charge, the 3 up to do D3 mortals from the Stegadon. Yep. Obviously, I'm going to fail that as well.
And they're in hunters, so you didn't get to stomp or anything.
Couldn't stomp them. So I was a little shitting like when that happened. I'm like, oh my god, because a 3 up rerollable save with really Katakros' ability and the
Nagash's ability
and whatever the shield wall.
And shield
wall.
True.
So good. So anyways, I'm gonna get my battle tactic. I have enough models. I made the charge with the Source Guard too. So I'm gonna
and you get to hold
same
1, hold
thing
2?
because I'm gonna hold 1, hold 2, hold more. So I'm gonna get 5 as well. Yeah. So it's gonna be 10-10, and we're going into a massive turn 3 priority.
Yes, sir.
All right.
It's a 5.
That's a 6.
Nice.
Makes me have
all
the huge,
yours.
huge
you have
decision.
A tough decision here.
Okay, so looking at it, I kind of played a little bit, pulling the Source Guard out, freeing up Nagash, that if I do get turned, then I'm going to take it. And yeah, just looking at it, I'm going to take the turn, so you're going to get to burn with you.
Yeah, and it was actually a bit of a debate because while most of my army's closer to this one, I'm actually going to burn this one. The reason that was a bit of a decision is I would love to burn this one because you are also way more reinforced over here, where this one theoretically is easier for me to get to.
Yep.
But you either still commit your sallies into combat and
still get my points for holding it.
Yeah, and it still takes me a turn or two, or you back off and it takes me a turn or two to get it anyways.
Yeah, and then if you don't burn this one and I still hold it and I end up getting this one, then I'm gonna get again hold two more.
So we'll burn this, and
the rare time when you can actually pick it up with no models on top of it.
And yeah, going into Seraphon turn 3.
Sounds good.
The Seraphon battle tactic is broken ranks. The Skink Priest uses heroic leadership. Kroak generates 1 additional command point. The active asterism is the Sage's Staff on Lord Kroak. The Skink Priest uses Herald of the Old Ones on the Bastiladon. The Skink Priest uses his Starstone Staff on the Bastiladon. Lord Kroak casts Stellar Tempest but is unbound. Kroak successfully casts Celestial Deliverance twice, dealing 7 mortal wounds in total. The Stegadon finishes off the lone remaining Mortek guard. The Salamanders kill 5 Mortek guard. The Bastiladon kills another 2 Mortek guard. The Bastiladon roars at Nagash, who fails his own roar. The Mortek guard uses Shield Wall. The Salamanders use all-out attack and kill 4 Mortek guard. Nagash deals 2 damage to the Bastiladon. The Bastiladon kills 1 Mortek guard. Katakros uses Endless Duty and finishes off the Salamanders. The Seraphon control 1 objective and achieve their battle tactic with a monster to score 4 points.
Okay, back from Seraphon turn 3 was a pretty big priority. I essentially just wanted to try to kill that 20 pack of Mortek, because if I can kill them, then you obviously can't regen them. Now it's going to be brutal because you're going to be able to bring 6 back. I left them on 3 models, and that means that you have 5 for him, 3 for them, and 2, so you're on 10. I retreated out the Source Guard to keep 5 on here, and then I ended up charging the Bastiladon, which is a monster, so I also have 10. So I needed to kill 1 more Mortek to take over this spot, and then I would have got the 3 points for it. The Sallies rolled no 6s on their hits, like I didn't get any mortals through, which is the hugest thing because Shield Wall, again, even with -2, you're at a 3 up to a 5 up roll.
It's still great.
So just 1 or 2 6s would have been just so nice there. So essentially, yeah, it's going to go into, well, after this, it's going to be hard to get my point, but so, you're going to be able to...
So you'll get hold 1, you'll get your battle tactic.
I got it with a monster, actually, notably, too.
So that's 4 points this round. So that is very notable. And yeah, there's a good chance, I only get 3 or 4 points here, and it's, 1 point game or a tie game, so we'll see what happens. Jumping into OBR turn 3.
The Bonereaper's battle tactic is Bring It Down. The Astrolith Bearer uses heroic leadership. Nagash and Katakros return 11 wounds to the Bonereaper units. Nagash uses Supreme Lord of the Undead, and Katakros uses Supreme Lord of the Bonereaper Legions. The Bone Tide Nexus uses its Punishment of Ignorance on Lord Kroak. Katakros' Scroll Bearer targets the Stegodon. Nagash casts Hand of Dust, but does not slay the Bastiladon. Nagash successfully casts Arcane Bolt 5 times. At the start of the movement phase, Nagash unleashes his Arcane Bolts, dealing 7 mortal wounds, leaving the Bastiladon with 2 wounds remaining. Nagash fails to roar, but the Bastiladon successfully roars at Nagash. Nagash deals 1 wound to the Bastiladon. The Bastiladon kills 4 Mortec Guard. The Mortec Guard use Endless Duty and finish off the Bastiladon. The Bonereapers control 1 objective and achieve their battle tactic to score 4 points.
Alright, so OBR turn 3, Nagash was pretty annoyed here with that Bastiladon from the start. Just the fact that I was tied up meant I couldn't go and put pressure on your objective.
Yeah.
I did my normal hero phase things, -1 to hit over here, both command abilities, and made Kroak -1 to cast, just made my casting more reliable. Because I wanted to get a bunch of Arcane Bolts off to kill the Staggy. Now actually first I tried the Hand of Dust, which went off, did the dice thing, but bridged just the right hand. So you're 50% on the channel so far with that.
1 for 2 right now.
Yeah, so perfectly on average.
Yeah.
But again, meant that I was still tied up there, so at the start of the movement, I unleashed my 5 Arcane Bolts that I had cast.
Yep.
You had 9 wounds left, good chance of killing you.
You rolled a bunch of 1s and 2s. I don't think you rolled 1, 3.
No.
And then I made a couple 6s from the Astrolith Bear.
So he was still alive, which meant I couldn't move, I couldn't charge.
Yeah.
I was stuck there in combat. I was hoping, though, I went in with Nagash first because you only had a couple wounds left.
Yep.
Was hoping to finish him off to get the +1 point for doing it with a monster. My battle tactic, that is, broken ranks, or sorry, bring it down.
Yep.
But you were still on a 4-up save because you were +2.
It was bracketed down to 2 wounds, so I was on a 4-up save. But I had +1 still from the Skink Priest, and then I had +1 because I rolled the 2-up to get the CP on the Astrolith Bear, who was able to give all of defense to him.
Exactly, and I failed my roar.
Yep.
And
I roared at Nagash. So a lot of the different little things.
Yeah, because Nagash couldn't use the bonus
attack,
so he was just doing his best, and you made the saves. So it didn't get the damage through. So the Bastiladon survived with 1 wound remaining.
Yeah.
Which then let the Bastiladon pile out of Katakros' range.
Killed 4 Mortec.
Yeah, because I didn't shield wall, because I just didn't expect to need to.
Yeah, and you just got lucky with 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, like crazy.
So then my Mortec finished it off in combat, though, dealing that last wound. I did give them +1 attack just to
make sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And he overkilled them by a bunch, but still, he finally went down.
Should have just started with them.
Yeah. But no, you did the right thing. Oh, yeah, obviously with the monster. Yeah.
But in the end of the day, I do hold this one for hold 1 and complete my battle tactic, as well as an extra point for killing a monster. So it's still just a 1-point lead, but still a slight lead for OBR.
Yeah.
And jumping into another priority roll for round 4. That's a 4.
That's a 4 as well.
And you win ties.
Yeah, so I'm obviously going to go here.
Sounds good. So we'll be jumping into Seraphon turn 4.
Let's do it.
The Seraphon battle tactic is Ferocious Advance. The Astrolith Bear fails Heroic Leadership. Kroak generates 2 additional command points. The active asterism is the Sage's Staff on Lord Kroak. The Skink Priest fails to use his Starstone Staff. The Skink Priest fails his prayer for Bless. Lord Kroak casts Celestial Deliverance but is unbound. Kroak then miscasts Celestial Deliverance, and the Saurus Guard take 1 wound. The Astrolith Bear uses at the double. The Stegodon shoots at the Mortek Guard but deals no damage. Nagash and the Stegodon roar at each other. The Mortek Guard use Shield Wall. The Stegodon deals no damage. Katakros uses Endless Duty and deals 9 damage to the Stegodon, leaving him with 1 wound remaining. The Saurus Guard use Olive Defense, but Nagash slays them all. The Mortek Guard use Endless Duty and finish off the Stegodon. The Seraphon control 1 objective and achieve their battle tactic to score 3 points.
Okay, cool. So back pretty much a couple plays. There was a couple things I could have done here.
You were just trying to score this objective was the big thing.
Yes. So I knew I was going to be able to get Ferocious Advance because I measured and I was able to get all 3 of these units.
Yep.
Also on the point. So I was able to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 models on this point. What I needed to do, there was only 5 Mortek Guard there, so I just needed Kroak to do a couple mortal wounds. He could have done 3 Celestial Deliverances and a Comet. Yeah. Just needed to do, I got a couple through all game.
Chances off, you'd have half those off.
Yeah, a couple of them through. Do just 2, 3 mortals, whatever. I obviously miscast with Kroak because clearly we were talking.
Second cast.
We were talking earlier. I'm like, oh, you've been casting a lot with Nagash. Like, I haven't seen any miscasts. Like.
Yeah, you said it though, so you jinxed yourself.
Yes. So Kroak miscast. Whatever, did a wound to the guard. And then even the Staggy, there was a play to move the Staggy out. I think I put 2 shots through, which are -1, but 3 damage. So 4s we're rolling 1s. There's still a chance you're gonna get a 2 or 3 or a 1 into a 2 or 3. So, but you made both 4s, made both saves. And then I was going to
threw the Staggy in just to try and suicide and to take those Mortek down.
Exactly. Because I feel like I needed to get this point, like just with what we're at with point-wise. Yeah.
Well, you're down 1, so maintaining a tie doesn't work for you. Like.
No, if we tie, you're going to eventually negate. You have Nagash and Katakros, so they're going to kill that Stegodon. I'm going to lose my what's it called, the Grand Strategy. So I needed to make a play here because Kroak miscast and I wasn't able to deal with the Mortek. So it's been a good game. So it's been like one of those moments where it's like the last time you want him ever to miscast, and of course that's when it happens. So he's even more so just wanting me to keep playing Slans. Apparently, he's going to be doing shit like that. But so I'm still going to get my battle tactic. So I'm going to get 2 for this. I still hold that point, so I will still score 3.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. At this point, you're still gonna have your turn. So
yeah, so we are jumping into OBR turn 4. We'll finishing out the round and hoping I should be able to clinch it here.
Yeah.
But with that, we'll just see what I can do, and hopefully it involves Kill the Fraud. We'll jump into OBR turn 4.
Okay.
The Bonereaper's battle tactic is Broken Ranks. Katakros and Lord Kroak both use their finest hour. Nagash and Katakros return 6 wounds to the Bonereaper units. Nagash uses Supreme Lord of the Undead, and Katakros uses Supreme Lord of the Bonereaper Legions. Nagash successfully casts Arcane Bolt 5 times. Nagash fails his roar. At the start of the combat phase, Nagash unleashes his Arcane Bolts, dealing 9 mortal wounds to Lord Kroak. Nagash attacks, dealing 6 wounds to Lord Kroak. The Saurus Guard deal no damage. The Mortec Guard use Endless Duty and finish off the Saurus Guard. At the end of the combat phase, Lord Kroak is slain. The Bonereapers control 2 objectives and achieve their battle tactic to score 5 points.
All right, so OBR turn 4, and as kind of we were expecting, I was able to, make it a definitive win here.
Kill the frog.
Yeah, obviously that's the one thing you always want to try to do is just kill Kroak if you get the chance. Here, Nagash was able to do it on his own.
Yep.
It was kind of close actually, because I did in combat, I did my 5 Arcane Bolts.
Yep.
And then I did all his attacks. I got 15 damage through total.
Yeah.
So Ridge would have needed to roll a 4 on 3d6 to survive.
Yeah. I rolled a 6,
You
which
rolled
is
a
pretty
6,
respectable.
So
yeah.
it's pretty good. Like if I had done 2 less wounds, he lived.
Yeah.
After
and then
all
all of that damage would have done nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still would have taken the point. It was more just to kill Kroak because I like to try and do that.
Everybody wants to kill Kroak from
See the
AOS
frog
2, pretty much.
Yeah. But he is dead in this case, or he will be reincarnated again in the future.
Yeah.
But on this one, I kill. Well, actually, big thing, Katakros isn't very motivated this game.
No.
Literally, he's just been doing his buff, which is great.
It's so good.
But I did Finest Hour. You need a 3-inch charge.
Yeah.
Rolled Snake Eyes. After Nagash had rolled a 3
Just
on
to
his
barely
charge.
get in his,
exactly.
yeah.
So at least I got in there.
Yeah.
And then the Mortec with +1 attack were able to finish off.
They shred.
Yeah. And
So
yeah,
good with the +1 to hit and reroll 1s to hit.
I'm on 2s rerolling 1s.
And then, on any 6s that you get from the reroll 1s, and then obviously it's always just 4s with them, but yeah.
Yeah, the buffs was really nice, and the +1 to save obviously is great. That's why you run Katakros and that's why you run Mortis Praetorians.
Yep.
Just looking back at this game, obviously there's a lot of people playing Petrifex Elite. If I was to take this to an event, I would play Petrifex Elite probably. Drop Katakros because you get an almost as good buff in Petrifex with the -1 rend, or reducing rend by 1.
Yeah.
It's not quite as good as +1 save, but it almost is.
Yes.
And to save his points and be able to put those into more bodies.
And being able to use Bludgeon now with multiple units for +1 rend as well is
exactly.
super good.
So I think Petrifex would be the way. This is cool, but it's like we saw, this was the most bodies I could take with it, and you killed both my 10 blocks.
Pretty.
The only other thing is maybe I do have to go to the 2-drop just to give away first turn.
Yes.
Because it's that double that often. I mean, you killed I think both units without the double in one turn. Oh no,
the one was the double because
so.
you had 3 left, so you would have been brought back to 9.
Yep.
So and 20 of them are still even that I could have multiple times took out the 20 block as well.
Yeah, it was close, but think if I had 3 20 blocks instead of Katakros and I'm reducing rend by 1, it's the same against you because you have rend 1 on everything.
Yep.
And so I that's 20 more Mortec plus more stuff.
Yeah. And that's the everything for me. Fully with Thunder Lizards, everyone knows it's just 1 rend across the board with everything. So bringing Sally's is massive for the mortal wounds, for the -2 rend, or just having blocks of skinks would be good for just the mortal wounds in general. And they're all 1 damage as well. So it's just the amount of saves you have to make compared to just a couple, because you make a couple 4-ups or a couple 3-ups, that are worth way more damage. It seems, and in the mortal wounds, it's that's what you need against this.
Yes.
Mortal wounds is pretty much it.
For sure. And in hindsight, for me, actually, there were a couple turns. I did the shield wall, or sorry, I did the Mystic Shield turn 1, but I could have been a little more protective of my Mortec guard, just relying on those numbers and then not thinking about your chip damage and all that. Because could have done the +1 to the reward save against mortals, which could have helped with some on the 20 block. I could have done that Mystic Shield, expecting you to get the double. So
Netherite shields or whatever.
Yeah, I could have been a little more defensive with them, rather than just throwing more arcane bolts. But again, it is what it is. It all worked out in the end.
Yes.
I had a ton of fun playing Nagash. My first time ever playing him, and when we did the other matchup with me playing Archaon for the first time.
Same thing.
It's fun to have one of those big gods.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's so tough to deal with in the game right now.
There are a lot. Yeah. That's what talking about tournaments, talking about everything that we always talk about, and we've said this a zillion times as well. Like other things that these god heroes, as everyone knows. God monsters are a problem when you can just give them save stack and do these types of things.
Yeah.
One rend, at no point in this game I even thought that I was going to be able to kill Nagash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's nothing in this army, so right away, it's like I need to kill all 3 of the blocks of Mortec and then possibly score with my battle tactics, and which could have happened if a couple other things went my way with Kroak and with the mortal wounds and with some spells, but again, that's the difference between Nagash and Archaon, is that Nagash is +3 to cast everything. Archaon is not. So, sometimes you can unbind Archaon spells. Nagash, it's a little tougher, and he's going to unbind a lot of yours. So it was fun playing Kroak, doing the Celestial Deliverance again.
Really good magic kind of battle.
Just remembered how much it hurts when you roll those ones on Celestial Deliverance to not get D3 mortals. It's like, But, it was definitely it was a fun game either way.
Cool seeing Kroak. And this was your second time actually playing Thunder Lizards.
Yeah.
But this was, I'd say, more tuned list on your part.
Yeah,
you were running a lot of Saurus before.
Yeah, so I knew we were playing Feck and just playing with the Terrorgeist. Even though they're definitely, if they had a turn in that game, it would have been a way different game. But I ran Saurus Warriors and stuff before that. So this was obviously a bit different. Still not top end competitive of Thunder Lizards, obviously. I think just even having Kroak is just not as top end, but still they still can do a lot. You know what I mean? It's just against high saves, re-rollable saves in combat. The Staggies and the Bastiladon, one rend again. You can't do anything against it.
You need to leverage
You need to be able to do mortals, or you need to have at least 2 rend. So if you were going to an event knowing that there's going to be a lot of high saves or things like that, then
it's going to be present. There's a lot of armies.
Yeah. So you need to take, maybe some more salamanders, or maybe have some other way to do mortal wounds, or you just focus on getting battle tactics, and that's kind of what I did here, and that's what you really want to try to do, especially getting extras for your monsters. So I don't know, it's interesting for sure. There's a lot. There's just so many things you can do with Seraphon and the units.
Now, the only thing I think would have been an interesting play, talking about turn 3 priority was a big one, and you took the turn, so I'd have to burn an objective. I was actually a little worried if you had have given it to me or a 1 priority, and you burning that center objective.
Yeah.
It would have meant
you would have had to pick Nagash towards
the Nagash has to go over there, or the Mortec.
Yeah.
And you probably have a decent chance of holding this one. But again, maybe at that point I'm still up 1. You're worried holding 1, and it doesn't change.
And then I would have had 1 monster here, 1 monster there.
So interesting choice. But that's something that was actually I was like, that could worry me if you try and spread me out like that.
Yeah.
But obviously.
I just figured, even if you did, the Mortec would have easily been able to clean up the
and you were really
sallies.
close to killing the Mortec, so going for that play again. If you had got the mortal wounds.
Yeah.
You were 1 wound off flipping the objective.
And getting 3.
And then 3 more to kill the unit. And then
no more coming back. You would have only had the 2 heroes.
So you're right. You went for
I think if
that would have cinched the game.
Yeah.
I think if you had to finish that Mortec unit.
Because if I would have gave you turn there, you would have just killed the sallies, not even with Nagash. You could have done with either of them. And then Nagash just missile them at Kroak and the guard. They're not going to be able to do anything to Nagash.
Yeah, it took a couple turns.
Yeah.
But if you had killed the Mortec that turn 3, then that would have been probably game over. Or it would have been a lot. That's probably the best play.
It would have came really way close. Down to it. Yeah.
But here again, this is gonna be the win for OBR and Nagash.
Another win for a stupid god.
Yeah. But that's going to be it for today. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this battle report. If you want to see more battle reports, we do an extra one every Thursday for our premium members only. So you can hit the join button on YouTube below this video to learn a little bit more and join our premium membership. Best way to support the channel. It's going to allow us to keep doing this in the future, trying to be sustainable with it. And other than that, we'll see you guys soon in another match.
Have a good week, guys.